Srimate Siddhesvar Ananda Pramhamsa iti namine Haribo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Siddhesvar Ananda Pramhamsa iti namine Namo Siddhaswarupananda Pramhamsa namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate Namo Siddhaswarupananda Pramhamsa namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Vasari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Nitai Gaur Hari Bol 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 Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. 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 Hari Bol. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Go. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya, Gora Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya, Gora Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya, Gora Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya, Gora Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarup, Ananda Pramhamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhesvar, Ananda Pramhamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhesvar, Ananda Pramhamsa, Jaya Siddhesvar, Ananda Pramhamsa, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Gaya Om Vishnupad, Pramhamsa Parivrajakacarya Sterishat, Sri Shrimad Jagadguru Siddhaswarup Ananda Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaya Krishna Prasad, Siddhaswarup Ananda Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama.
Welcome,
Namaste,
everybody.
everyone. Let us welcome Siddheshvar Das, our friend,
Namaste.
initiated disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and his
Siksha Guru.
Siksha Guru is Jagadguru Siddhaswarup Ananda Paramahamsa Prabhupada. Siddheshvar Das, the floor is yours. Namaste. Thank you for coming.
What am I going to do with a floor?
The floor.
I guess I'll wipe it up. Okay. Thank you very much. Daryl, what time is it? Looks like it's daytime over there where you are. Turn on your microphone.
Haribol.
Haribol,
Yeah,
so.
it's 1:30 in the afternoon. So, and we got a nice
Oh.
day as well.
Oh, it's not
And
so inconvenient as I thought it might be. Good, good.
no, it's perfect.
Now you've changed your T-shirt.
Yeah, I had the wardrobe changed because I was still, ashamedly, I was still in my like sleep stuff. It's this lockdown thing. It's the lockdown thing, Siddheshvar Das.
Okay.
So I changed to my Nisringa Dave T-shirt. So.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess in some parts of the world it's still Nishringade's appearance. So that's good.
Yeah. In Hawaii, I think is still maybe.
So yes, it's yesterday in Hawaii. So Haribol, thank you everybody for coming. we have gone through the first 8 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Some of you have been with us for all of that, and some of you are just joining us in the last few. I hope that you find that your time is well spent. I'm very gratified to see that a lot of people are, excuse me, a lot of people are watching afterwards. They're watching the replays on congregational chanting, and I want to offer my obeisances at the feet of all the Binyan Bhaktas, and Boying, and Chaitanya Das, and Bala Krishna Das, and Bala Atma Das, and all the wonderful ladies there at Binyan. Thank you so much. Haribo. Namaste. Before we get into chapter 10, the most confidential knowledge, I want to offer my respects and obeisances at the lotus feet of my spiritual masters. Namo Siddhaswarup Ananda Pramhamsa Namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate. Namaste Saraswati Devam Gaur Vani Pacharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Hari Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna has been, ever since chapter 8 and 9, Krishna is answering question after question that Arjuna has. In this next chapter, Krishna begins to elucidate more and more on the reality of who he is and what exactly he does. And it's very, very, very interesting, I think. Chapter 10 in the Gita is called the most confidential knowledge. And it's very, again, it's very interesting because this is the most confidential knowledge. And because Krishna is giving this knowledge to Arjuna, the amazing beauty of it is that if you are not a devotee of Krishna, you can't understand it. It's amazing. It's there in black and white, it's there in so many words, but without the secret whatever, the secret button of devotion to Krishna, you really cannot grasp the fundamentals of what Krishna is saying. After Krishna answered Arjuna's questions in chapter 8, he continues speaking in chapter 9 with knowledge about himself that he had begun explaining in chapter 7. 7 and 9 are very much related. Krishna prefaces chapter 9 by stating that the knowledge that he will now reveal is the most confidential knowledge, because it is about Krishna's actual position, which only the non-envious and faithful can understand. Now, in the I can't find it offhand here, the invitation that some of you saw, it was saying, what is how is it that someone can understand this knowledge, and what is what is the biggest impediment to understanding this knowledge? And they both break down to the same thing: envy. Envy. Only the non-envious and faithful, Krishna says, can understand. My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of all the miseries of material existence. Envy. People like these demonic fools like Kamsa and Sisupal and various other demonic Duryodhana, even Radheya, they see Krishna, they see him glorified, yet he's not even a king. And they are kings, but they are not glorified as much as Krishna. And they see, and then why does he get all the adoration? Why is he, able to discuss building temples with Indra or the various architects of the heavenly planets? Why is he get all of this stuff? How is it that he was enabled Jarasandha to be killed even though he couldn't kill Jarasandha? Why does he get all this stuff and I don't get anything? Damn it! This is the envy that clouds our minds. This is the envy that clouds the eyes and the minds of most people. And we see it every day, not dealing directly with Krishna, but in dealing with people. We see people always like, how did you get that? Why did you deserve that? Or, that kind of thing. Sometimes people don't say it, but it's there, right? You've known people like that. I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've met people that are in that category, that boat. Krishna says, this knowledge is the king of education. It is the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and is joyfully performed. So, he's really building this up. It's like, okay, I'm going to tell you the most secret of secrets. I'm going to tell you the key to everything. I'm going to give you the everlasting truth that is the perfection of religion, the perfection of life, the purpose of everything that exists. And it is everlasting, never ends, and it is joyfully performed. He doesn't say joyfully sat in a cave and doing nothing. He says that it is joyfully performed. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, in the purport, tells a very nice story about Narada Muni in his past life. Maybe you didn't know, but Narada Muni was the son of a maidservant in his past life. He had no opportunities for school. He was simply an assistant to his mother. And fortunately, his mother often rendered service to pure devotees. I don't know, maybe she ran a hostelry. It doesn't say exactly what she did. Maybe she ran a coffee shop. Not sure. But in any case, she had some opportunity and engaged in service at the feet of many pure devotees. This child, Narada, he also had the opportunity to take prasad and to serve these devotees. He took Mahaprasadam, actually, because his mother would offer foodstuffs to these, she would offer prasadam to these devotees, and then Narada would be able to eat what was left over. But he didn't just take the dishes into the kitchen to wash them and then sneak a few bites of prasad. He actually came to the devotees and said, would it be okay if I took a little bit of what you've left over? He asked permission. So, simply by association, Narada was able to achieve the highest goal of all religions, devotional service at the feet of Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, It said that religious people generally do not know. By the way, am I loud enough for you guys? Can you all hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, good. Thank you.
It's better now.
It's better now? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I just turned it up. I realized that my volume was down to about
Yeah,
half.
it's better now.
Okay, good. Thank you. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it said that religious people, this is good, religious people generally do not know that the highest perfection of religion is the attainment of the stage of devotional service. People who are filled with religiosity, who are attracted to all the pomp and circumstance of their religion, of the this and the that and the ceremony and the yada, 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 they do not realize that it is the devotion, the devotional service, that is really the highest attainment in religion. Generally, Bhaktivedanta says, Vedic knowledge is required for the understanding of the path to self-realization. But here, he says, although he is not educated in Vedanta or the Vedas or anything like that, Narada nevertheless acquired the highest results of Vedic study. This process of bhakti is so potent that even without performing the religious process regularly, one can be raised to the highest perfection. How is this possible? No study of Scripture? I mean, we study a lot of Scripture. We study Bhagavad Gita. We study the Srimad Bhagavatam. We study the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the nectar of devotion, and so forth. But here it is being said that even without this study, Narada was able to attain the highest perfection. It is the potency of bhakti, the potency of devotional service. How is this possible? Bhaktivedanta Swami asks. He says this is also confirmed in the Vedic literature. Acharyavan Puruno Veda. One who is in association with the great acharyas, even though he may not be educated, nor having studied the Vedas, can become familiar with all the knowledge necessary for realization. In this way, Narada Muni also became attracted to the 9 processes of devotional service, which are, does anybody know? Open your microphone and tell me, what are the 9 processes of devotional service? Don't be shy. Anyone remember?
Harinama.
Harinama is 1. Hearing and chanting. That's 2, actually. What else? After you hear and you chant, what do you do?
Remembering.
That's right, Janardhan Das. You remember. And then what do? You begin to
Associate with devotees.
Okay, that maintaining friendship, that's there. Association by that word is not there. But after you hear, you chant, you remember, you serve. Okay? And then after you engage in service, you engage in worship. You serve the lotus feet, you pray. Now, prayer, what is prayer? Prayer is obviously very different among bhaktas than it is among Christians. Because for the most part, prayer among Christians seems to be relieve me of my miseries, relieve me of my diseases, make somebody else whole, do this, cure my son, cure my daughter, cure me of my deafness, cure me of my blindness. It is always me, me, me. It is always you know, I pray for something for me or extended me, for my family, my society, or whatever have you. This tends to be the nature of, not just, I don't want to pick on the Christians, it's the nature of a lot of different prayers, even Buddhist prayers and Islamic prayers always tend to be this way. However, the real meaning of prayer is to glorify God, again, in prayer. My dear Lord, you are the soul of existence. You are the cause of all causes. You are the greatest of the great. And yes, sometimes we pray for something, but what does the devotee pray for? Let me always remember you. Let me love you. Please grant me love for you. Please grant me sincerity. Let me be sincere in my devotion. I am unqualified. I am completely bereft of any desire to love you. Only you can change that. So, while a devotee may ask for something, he does not ask for anything material. A devotee does not ask for a cure for the coronavirus or to help his child walk or any of these material things. A devotee asks, if he asks for anything, he asks only for increased devotion, increased love, increased sincerity in their loving service. That is the prayer of a devotee, and that is the intrinsic difference between the prayer of and again, I'm not picking on the Christians because I've known many Christians who do exactly the same thing. They simply pray to be able to love and serve God more, to love and serve Christ better, and that's why devotional service transcends all spiritual paths. It is not Christian or Buddhist or Baptist or Jewish or Hindu. It is there in all spiritual paths. But only the sincere and the non-envious can find it. Okay, we have hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshiping, praying, obeying, maintaining friendship, and surrendering everything. These are the definitions of the nine practices of bhakti as laid out by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami in the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Now, Krishna continues to explain that although independent and aloof, he pervades, he creates, and he annihilates. Now, most Hindus even think that, well, Vishnu is the creator, or no, Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the maintainer, and Shiva is the destroyer. But here, Krishna says, I pervade everything. I create everything. I annihilate everything. By me, in my unmanifest form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. He is always separate from his creation. He's within it, but separate from it. The entire cosmos, through his material energy, is Krishna. Those Mahatmas who know Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead take shelter of him and serve him as the only enjoyer and the supreme object of worship. Now we may worship Christ. We may worship the cross. We may worship so many different symbols. But Krishna here is saying that I am the supreme object of worship. And all of whatever other worship may go on is really meant for me, not anyone else but me. Fools deride me, he says, when I descend in human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. It's a wonderful, wonderful verse. Fools deride me. They think, oh, he's just, some great personage. Bhaktivedanta Swami says, the personality of Godhead, who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the complete cosmic manifestation, cannot possibly just be a human being. Yet, there are many fools who consider that Krishna was merely some powerful man and nothing more. Actually, he is the Supreme Personality, as is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Brahma Samhita. He is the Supreme Lord. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. There are many controllers, and one may appear greater than another. Now, this is true even in our ordinary society. The way bureaucracies are set up, I may be the director of print advertising, but somebody else is the director of overall advertising, and someone else is the creative director of all of that direction, and someone else is his boss, and someone else is his boss, and so on and so forth. Bhaktivedanta says, even in the ordinary management of affairs in this material world, we find some official or some director, and above him there may be a secretary, and above him is a minister, and above him may be a president or a chancellor or a king. Each one of them is a controller in their own right. Right? But each one is controlled by another one who's higher than they are. So, I don't know about you, but I found myself oftentimes wondering, well, if Brahma is the creator of the universe, why doesn't he, how does he not remember that, Krishna is his boss? If Indra is the bringer of the rains and the storms, but how does he not remember that actually he's being controlled by? Well, this is how we can understand this. How does Brahma or Indra forget that Krishna controls everything? It's because there's someone above them, and then someone above them, and someone above them, and so on and so forth. When Brahma was visited, when Brahma went back to Krishna after stealing the calves and boys, Krishna said, oh, you thought you were the only one? And it's like, there's a little whistle, and there, tens of thousands and thousands of Brahmas come from all over the universe, some of them with 4, 5, 10, 25 heads, facing in all sorts of different directions and having all sorts of different energies and powers and so forth. Brahma suddenly felt like an ant among giants. So someone is above them, someone above them, and someone above them. So sometimes they get lost in the hierarchy of things, and they forget who the ultimate boss is. This is all by Krishna's arrangement anyway. In the Brahma Samhita, it said that Krishna is the supreme controller. It says there are many controllers, undoubtedly both in the material and spiritual world, but Krishna is the supreme controller. And his body is Sat Chit Ananda. It is non-material. Sat, eternity, Chit, knowledge, full of knowledge, and Ananda, full of bliss. He says, O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of my divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Here Krishna describes the true Mahatma, great soul. The Mahatma does not divert his attention to anything outside of Krishna. He sees Krishna in everything. Because he knows perfectly well that Krishna is the original Supreme Person. That he is the cause of all causes. And for such a person, there is no doubt about it. Such a Mahatma, or great soul, develops their devotion through association with other Mahatmas, through association with devotees. Pure devotees are not even attracted by any other form of Krishna. They are not attracted by the universal form on the side of me. They're not attracted by Narayan, four-handed form, Mahavishnu, and so many different manners in which Krishna displays himself. These are not at all attractive to the pure devotee. Always chanting my glories, Krishna says. Always chanting my glories. Endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. I mean, how much more clear can he be? How much more simple can it be said? And yet, the unintelligent and the so-called educated scholars misinterpret this stuff all the time. The Gita is a complete mystery to them. He goes on to say, worshipping themselves as God, the impersonal, this is Bhaktivedanta Swami, the impersonalists have some understanding, but their worship is considered to be second class, just as the demigod worshippers. In other words, impersonalists have some understanding. They understand that everything is spirit. But the problem is they think that they are that spirit. They are the only spirit and that they are the only thing that exists. And therefore it is considered second class, just like those who worship the demigods or others who worship any imaginary form as God. This is forbidden in every religion. Worshipping some imaginary form. This is why the Muslims are so adamant against worshipping any kind of a graven image. You won't find any, you won't even find a drawing or a picture of Muhammad, what to speak of Allah in a mosque. But as I've said many times before, you will find God's name. You will find God's name all over any mosque that you go to. And Prabhupada says there are others who worship this cosmic manifestation or the universe as a whole, thinking that it is some kind of a supreme organism. This is considered very low form of religion. Krishna says, understand, it is I who am the ritual. I am the sacrifice. I am the offering to the ancestors. I am the healing herb and the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire, the ghee and the fire and the offering. I am the father of this universe. I am the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge. I am the purifier, and I am the syllable Om. I am also the rig, Sama and Yajur Vedas. He says, I am the goal, I am the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode. I am the refuge, and I am the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation. I am the basis of everything. I am the resting place and the eternal seed. I want to go back just for a second to where he says, I am the most dear friend. This is something that took me a long time to grasp. It just became clear to me one day some time ago where I realized that here I'm praying to Krishna to please purify my heart, but I'm not realizing that whatever happens, whatever he does, it is in the mode of something that my most dear friend would do. He is my dearmost friend. And he would never do anything that would cause me harm. And when we begin to act with that consciousness, it changes everything. It changes what we do, why we do it, how we do it. And it's amazing to think that God is your dearmost friend. Your dearmost friend. Yes, he's the sustainer, he's the pervader, he's the object of all sacrifice, but he is also your dearmost friend. And that just means everything to a devotee. Not some demigod, not Mother Nature, not even the whole universe, or any other manifestation, or any other reincarnation, or incarnation. Krishna says, I, Krishna, I am all these things. That's it. O Arjuna, I control the heat, which have been pretty hot lately. I control the rain and the drought. I am immortality, and I am also death personified. We think of Yamaraj, the demigod in charge of death, and the Yamadutas come and scare the Jesus out of people that are, dying in some kind of sinful state of mind. But yet, behind Yama is Krishna, his boss, again. And he then says, both being and non-being are in me. Both being and non-being, existence and non-existence, are in me. Krishna then explains the very fortunate position of such devotees who worship Krishna. He says, if one worships Krishna, then Krishna cares, and he compensates for that person's deficiencies and preserves that person's strengths. He says, those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me, and me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ghosts, the spirits, the dead, will take birth among such creatures. Those who worship their ancestors, well, that's where they go. They go to the ancestors. And those who worship me will live with me. Very simple. Very simple. Easy. Easy to understand. At least for the bhaktas. And all Krishna asks for is what? Does anybody know? What does he ask for? I know you know this. Come on. Jonathan? Elinette? May? What does he ask for? William?
Love.
There. Love me.
Love? Nope.
Worship me.
Nope.
Worship me and become my devotee.
Nope. I'm looking for something else. I'm not saying that he doesn't ask for those things, but I'm looking for something else.
Love me.
No, Bala Krishna Das, no. That's not what I'm looking for. Again, yes.
Chanting.
I'm sorry?
Remember,
Who is that?
Chanting.
Chanting?
Chant.
Well, in a sense, I guess, sort of. But what I'm getting at is he says,
remember him.
what?
Remember him. Remember him.
To remember him. No, you're going all around it, but I'm talking about what he actually says in the Bhagavad Gita. What he says is, those who offer me a leaf, a flower, or some water, if it is offered with devotion, thus my devotee will come to me. O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, these things should be done as an offering to me. So he doesn't ask for much, he just asks for everything. And in return, or not even in return, but just the fact of the matter is that if you give him everything, you receive everything. His friendship, his love. He gives you everything. Even a devotee who unintentionally commits some kind of horrendous act will be rectified, because Krishna promises that his true devotee will never perish. For one who is devoted to me, he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace, O son of Kunti. Declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes.
Thank you.
Sorry, somebody said something? Is that Bala? Bala Krishna?
Vanquished, never vanquished.
So, this is where things can get a little dicey, because there are certain regulations that if one falls down from their exalted position, they have to undergo certain ritualistic processes to purify themselves. But in bhakti, there is no such condition, because the purifying process is already there in the heart of the devotee, due to his remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, should be continued without stoppage. This will protect a devotee from all accidental fall downs, any and all accidental fall downs. He will thus remain perpetually free from all material contamination. The one note here, though, is that this does not obliterate Vaishnava Aparad. Vaishnava Aparad is the one thing that a devotee can get in trouble with that is very, very difficult to overcome, no matter how much they chant. So we'll go into that at some future time. But anyway, in the end, Text 34, Krishna says, engage your mind always in thinking of me. Offer your obeisances unto me and worship me, being completely absorbed in me. Surely you will come to me. Again, I don't know how it could be that any more clear. I don't know how it can be any more direct. But, you know, the instruction to me seems very, very clear, and yet I can again tell you that when I first read it, I thought it said something completely different. So that's it for the for that chapter, and I have a feeling that was actually chapter 9, not chapter 10. But in any case, I don't have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. I think I gave it to somebody, and I haven't been able to find it since I cleaned my studio. So I've got my online copy, which I use in research for this, but I don't have my big, my big, beautiful copy of Bhagavad Gita. I don't know what happened to it. It's sad. So anyway, that's it for today's discussion or today's talk. I'm open to any questions that you may have. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you found it
Harbol,
useful. Haribol, Janardhan Das.
namaste.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. Just a quick question from yesterday. I just forgot the. Do you remember there are 3 lifetimes the demons Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyakasha will take, right? And they chose three demon lifetimes over 7 devotee life. Do you remember the 3 demon lives they had?
Well, one was Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. One was Ravana and Kumbhakarna. And one was, during Krishna's time, Jarasandha, I believe, was one. And honestly
Sisupala.
Who?
Sisupala and Dantavakra.
Sisupala and Dantavakra, okay. Wasn't Jarasandha?
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Are they brothers? The Ravana and who was that again?
Which one?
Ravana and which one?
Ravana and Kumbhakarna were brothers, yes.
I see. So they're all brothers all throughout their lives, the 3 lives.
I don't know if were Sisupal and the other one, were they brothers? No, they weren't, right? So for some reason
I'm
they
not
were
sure.
broken up.
I'm not sure if they're brothers.
I see. Okay. Well, the first 2 were. They were both. There was, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, and Kumbhakarna and Ravan.
Ravana and Kumbhakarna, they're brothers.
They were brothers.
I
so
see.
There's two of the incarnations were brothers, and the last one I'm honestly not sure.
All right. Thank you.
Haribo. Any other question? Come on.
Namaste.
Namaste,
Haribo.
William.
Yeah.
I'm glad it doesn't say galaxy anymore. That confused the heck out of me.
Yeah. Okay, I wrote it down. Yeah. Anyway, this is with regards to Lord Brahma. I'm just wondering why Brahmas needs more than 1 heads. How do they think?
He sees in all 4 directions at once.
But how do they think?
He has 1 brain,
1 brain and 4 heads.
but 4 faces. How does Ravana think with 10 heads? I mean, how does a fly see with a compound eye that's actually made up of more than 1,000 different eyeballs? only Krishna can answer that. I have, I mean, scientists say that an insect with a compound eye can see better than anybody. So why don't we have compound eyes if we're so damned advanced? You know, but so Ravan had 10 heads. There are many depictions of various demigods that have and demons that have a number of heads. Somehow or other, they're all able to. I mean, there's Kalia. Kalia, right? Yeah, Kalia, the snake.
1,000 heads.
I'm sorry.
1,000.
Yeah, yeah, 1,000 different heads, and then there's who's the Ananta? There's Ananta. He has so many heads that every one of his heads is constantly giving a different glory of God, of Krishna, and they never repeat themselves throughout all eternity. And how does a snake with a bazillion heads think? I have no idea. It's like a compound eye. How does a compound eye made up of a billion different eyeballs see? I don't know. It's Krishna is just amazing. He is so amazing. Somehow or other, he makes it all come together. It's just, he's so cool. I don't know if that helps, William. I mean, basically, I'm saying I don't know, but
I guess that's how it is. You have to accept that.
The Lord grant us
It's a very curious thing for me. So many heads in one neck.
Yeah, and you gotta wonder that if Krishna was able to, or when Ram killed Ravan with his 10 heads, there should have been some scientist there saying, let's do an autopsy and figure out how all this worked. But that's Kali Yuga. They've got to figure out how everything works. But for most people, it's just like, wow, he's got 10 heads. How does he think? I don't know, but he sure thinks.
that's that strong neck muscles.
Any more questions? Please go ahead. Open your microphone and speak out. Alan, no questions? Okay. How about Pinky?
Namaste. Haribol.
Namaste, sir. Yes, sir.
Haribol. Changing heart follows the consciousness, right?
Come again?
If we change heart,
wait a minute.
Desires.
You only have one heart.
Yeah.
How are you going to change it?
No. I mean the desire from the heart. It changes consciousness.
Well, your heart is your consciousness. I mean, they say follow your heart because your heart that's where Krishna is. That's where Vishnu is residing, in your heart of hearts. And right now when we're so enamored with our senses and our mind and everything, we have no idea where our heart is. We say follow your heart, but actually most of the time we're just following our mind. And when we say this person had a change of heart, that doesn't necessarily mean he became enlightened. It just means that he realized that he should have been doing one thing when he was doing something else. So, among bhaktas, a change of heart simply means that one gains more and more understanding of his relationship with Krishna. And that is that is changing his heart, but it's also unchanging because his relationship is eternal and unchanging. But he comes, as we come closer and closer to an ever expanding idea of what that relationship is. It's always changing as we go deeper, but yet it never changes. That's the amazing conundrum of Krishna. Anything else? May? Vishnudas? I've got all of your names up here. Anne? Tilak?
Namaste.
Haribol, I was hoping you'd ask a question.
I was just intrigued by the without stoppage, remembering Krishna without stoppage. How do I do that? Must I drop everything and just chant and do worship?
Well, I was thinking the same thing when I read that. I was thinking, here we are, we're not chanting, and yet Bhaktivedanta Swami is saying we should chant Hare Krishna without stoppage. So the answer to that is that when we are engaging in any of the 9 practices of devotional service, then we are chanting Hare Krishna without stoppage. In other words, as we mentioned last time we talked, any one of those 9 practices can lead you to Krishna. It's not like you have to do all 9 of them necessarily. Of course, we want to do as many as we can, but nobody's, when Bhaktivedanta Swami says, you should chant Hare Krishna without stoppage, nevertheless, you also need to make prasadam, and you also need to do your Gayatri, and you also need to engage in your service, whatever that might be. Take care of your children, educate your children, this, that, and the other. So the point is to make all of that as devotional. As devotional. Make that service transcendental. Make your everyday work your transcendental service, and therefore, in that way, it never stops. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
How do I do that? For example, I'm working and my boss told me to do something. That way I forget Krishna, right?
That depends on you. I used to be in radio. I used to have to do a radio show or write stupid radio commercials, But, and then I had to voice them after I wrote them. So, you can say, well, that took your mind off of Krishna, but the point is all that you do, all that you, hang on a second, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities you may perform. I mean, your job may be an austerity. When your boss is asking you to do things that tend to take your mind off of Krishna, that's a great austerity. Offer it to Krishna. Offer all that you do, all that you eat, all that you work at, all your job, everything as an offering to Krishna. Do everything you do as an offering to Krishna. Even chanting the holy name. What attitude should one have when they are chanting? They should have the attitude that I am offering these holy names to Krishna. It is an offering. So all that you do it as an offering to your dear friend, Krishna. And then nothing can take you away from him if you do that. Is that clear? You can just nod your head. Okay. Okay, good. How about you, Bala? You got a question? Okay. Anybody else? Any questions? If not, then we'll just get Bala to chant again. Any more questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Malu, you have another question?
I think there are questions in the chat.
Oh, you forgot.
Oh, there are? Oh, I forgot to look. Yeah, good point. Yeah. Haribol, Ellen, oh, nice. Please explain what I heard living in the spiritual world while living in the material world. What? Please explain what I heard living in the spiritual world while living in the material world. Where did you hear that, Ellen? She's not answering. Please explain what I heard. Do you have any idea what that means, Mala? That one can live in the spiritual world while living in the material world? Is that how does one do that? Is that what you're asking?
And there is chanting of the holy names. You are in Vrindavan, even while you're in the material world.
I guess that is in the Lord's Prayer.
It is? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. I don't hear living
As it is in heaven.
Try that again?
The Lord's Prayer.
Yes.
The words, as it is in heaven. What we're doing here in the material world is what we're doing in heaven.
Well, okay, if that is the reference, then obviously it is really what it comes down to is everything you do, everything you eat, everything you offer and take away, you do it as an offering to Krishna. Then it becomes totally spiritual, as it is in heaven. Everything, the grass grows in the spiritual world because that is its service to Krishna. The grass, the flowers bloom in the spiritual world not because they want to procreate. The bees land on the flowers and take the pollen not because they want to steal from the flowers, but because they want to serve Krishna. It is all a matter of consciousness. Why we do these things on earth as it is in heaven. That what we do shall be as holy here as we're doing it, as it is eternally in Krishna's spiritual realm, in Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, does that work for you, Ellen? Does that work for everybody? Again, it's really a matter of devotion. William, does that work?
Yes.
Okay, it's a matter of attitude. It's a matter of consciousness. That I consciously do something and I consciously offer it. It's the same idea as prasadam. We can make the prasadam, but if we're not consciously thinking that, oh, Krishna is going to love this, if we're consciously thinking, oh, this is going to taste really good, then we've got the wrong attitude. But if we're consciously thinking how nice it'll be for Krishna, how wonderful it will taste for Krishna, then we've got the right attitude. It's, on earth as it is in heaven. Everybody in heaven does what they do. Everybody not even in Swarg, not in heaven, but in Krishna Loka, everything they do to please Krishna. That is their only desire. Pinky says, Haribol, sir, is it possible for us to pray for a change of heart for another person, as each person has their own desires? Of course it's possible to pray for a change of heart for someone. Your benediction upon some poor soul who's lost his way I mean, we all know people whose sons or daughters have gone their own way, have become so offensive or so demonic. And what can you do but simply pray for them and hope that they will change, that they're somehow that their offenses, that they'll wake up and want to change. There are so many of Prabhupada's disciples who are in that boat, and there are so many of Bhaktivedanta's disciples who are in that unfortunate boat.
Mute ka ba? Hindi.
Yes, Bala? I heard your wife say something.
Oh,
In addition to
namaste.
that,
Yes?
Namaste, sir. Good evening. I just want to share something. I heard from a lecture before that if we chant the holy names, even if we are in the material world, we are immediately transported to the spiritual world.
Yes. Yes. That is in truth that's the situation, but in terms of our consciousness, we may not quite get there, or we may not quite be there. It's just like there's so many examples. I'm trying to hone in on one, but you know, it's yes, when you are engaging in worship, when you're engaging in devotional service, when you're engaged in congregational chanting, you are transported to the spiritual world. But that does not mean that your body is not getting any older. It does not mean that you may not still catch a cold or catch a virus or whatever have you. Devotees, bhaktas don't generally think in this way. They don't use the spiritual world or their chanting as a shield from the material world. They simply take shelter in the holy name. They take shelter in the spiritual world, and it is true, but it is very difficult for devotees to appreciate that. You know, we generally don't. We're not generally chanting and thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm in Vrindavan." No, I'm still in Binyan, or I'm still in my house. But you know, ultimately, spiritually speaking, yes. I mean, if you were to leave your body right then and there, you would undoubtedly find yourself in the spiritual world without delay. So it's a yes and no answer. I'm sorry, I can't be any more. It really depends on your own consciousness, in a sense. I mean, you may be there, but you may not be conscious of it. That's what I mean. Does that make any sense at all?
So, namaste. So,
Daryl, I can't hear you. You're very soft. Can you speak up?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
What does it mean chanting? So chanting without offense.
Ooh. I wouldn't know. I've never been able to do it.
Same.
Chanting without offense is, you know, chanting for the sake of glorifying God and nothing else, for the sake of pleasing Krishna and nothing else. No matter how tired you may be, no matter how, like right now, I'm boiling. I'm in my room. There's no aircon. I'm completely, I mean, sweat is pouring down my head. You may not be able to see it, but it's there. And you know, I'm just hoping that somehow or other, engaging in this activity, that I'm pleasing Krishna. And so in terms of, I mean, to me, I'm offensive just being in this body, and I have only the the slimmest of hopes that somehow or other, by Krishna's grace, I will be able to even say his name once without offense. That would be such a great thing. And you know, it is something. It is a consummation devoutly to be wished, as Shakespeare would say. You know, that we may chant without offense is something that we should all aspire for. I think that's, you know, I don't know how else to explain that to you, except that, you know, when you do it, you'll know it. Know what I mean, Gene?
Yeah, thank you.
Haribo.
Yeah, so I mean, if Hiranyakashipu can get liberation, I guess there's there's hope for us all.
Well, now remember, the liberation of Hiranyakashipu and the liberation of most of Aghasura and of so many demons was simply to have merged into Brahman effulgence. It was not to go back to Krishna. So this is explained very clearly in Bhagavatam, and Bhaktivedanta Swami also mentions it a number of times, that the liberation that they achieved was simply to merge once again into Krishna's effulgence.
Okay, so not going back home to Krishna is not the same.
Not going back home to Krishna. Although there may be the exception in the case of, I don't know where Hiranyakashipu and those guys went. You know, the three of them, or the two of them, went into another body, and then they went into another body. What happened after they died the third time? I don't know. I don't know whether they simply merged into Krishna's effulgence or whether they became guards in Vaikuntha once again. Not sure. That's not really explained to me in any place that I've seen. So there's that question. But ultimately, what happened to them is immaterial. What happens to you? That's the question.
Krishna's causeless mercy, I guess, is all. I've got to go on. Well, thank you.
Anyone else?
Namaste.
Namaste, William.
Yeah. How the devotee knows that he is pleasing to Krishna? Is there any indication, feeling, or what?
William, that question has been asked and answered at least 3 times in this Gita discussion over the last few weeks. And the answer is Vishnu, Sadhu, Shastra. You know what that means? William?
Maybe I'm not listening very well.
Okay, William. So, none of us are listening very well, I think, but Vishnu, you have that is correct. You're listening to the right voice. If it is in agreement with the words of, if it is that God has the rules that God has laid down, the rules that what He said that we should do, if it's in agreement with what your spiritual master
I'm sorry, sir.
says we should.
I can't hear very well. It's choppy. Your voice is choppy.
I'm sorry. I just got a note that said, is it coming through any better?
No.
How about everybody else? Is everybody having a difficult time hearing me?
Yeah, I think it's the internet
Nobody.
connection. You keep cutting out.
Internet connection is you can't hear me. It's not getting better.
No, that's clear. Now it's clear.
Well, now it's clear. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go back. You've got Vishnu, Sadhu, Shastra. Ed or Krishna with you, if it is in agreement with Sadhu, with your spiritual master, and if it is in agreement with Shastra, the scriptures, then you're on solid ground. It is not agreement. If it's not in agreement with those things, then you're not. Then you're listening to your mind. Bala, there's nothing I can, connection. It is what it is. My bandwidth is low. I've got as much as I can afford. I don't know. So, if you know a way that I can get more, I'm only getting 3 for the phone. Even worse. So, and all the street just is what saying goodbye. Is that it? William, did you get the answer that you needed?
No, I did not hear that. The connection is not good. Now we can hear now.
Now you can hear.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'll say it for the 3rd time.
Yeah. Please.
Okay, I hope it stays stable long enough. Vishnu, Sadhu, Shastra. If what you are listening to is in agreement with Krishna, with the scriptures, and with your spiritual master, you are on solid ground. If it is not in agreement with any one or all of those things, then you're probably just listening to your mind.
My point is, that person, can he feel something about it? I mean, if he's doing all those things, and then do that person can feel something about it? I mean,
can they feel
can
that
he
they're doing?
Can he feel happy inside or what?
Again, if it's in agreement with those 3 principles, Vishnu, Sadhu, Shastra, they will automatically feel great joy when they're engaged in something that they know is pleasing to Krishna. Yes, of course. And the danger, of course, is that you think you're doing something that's pleasing. I was there. I committed the greatest offense that one can commit, and I thought that I was doing a wonderful thing. So, you really need to when your relationship with your spiritual master, when your relationship with Krishna in your heart, as it becomes more and more clear to you, these relationships, this non-enviousness, this dedication and devotion to Krishna, to pleasing Krishna, this is what will give you pleasure. This is the source of your pleasure. And, you ask, do you feel anything? Well, if you didn't feel anything, then why are you doing it? There should be some, if there's no reciprocation, if there's no feeling that, gosh, this is amazing, I'm chanting Krishna's name and I'm feeling the power, the energy, the eternal joy of chanting his name, then, it's like, there's a story about a guy that loses, somebody gives him a gold coin, and he loses it, and somebody finds him on the street, under a street lamp, looking and looking and looking. He says, "What are you looking for?" "I'm looking for the gold coin that I lost." He said, "Where'd you lose it?" "Oh, back in that dark alleyway." "Well, why are you looking here?" "Well, because it's light here." If you're chanting, you've got that gold coin, you've got that treasure. Let it light your alleyway, let it light your life. And there won't be any question of, whether or not, it'll make you feel good. It is your life. It is your life and soul. It is your raison d'être. It's your reason for existence. It's the most important thing. It's more important to you than life itself. When your relationship with Krishna, when your glorification of Krishna becomes more important to you than your life, then you're really getting somewhere. Okay? Does that help at all?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I just want to hear from you, sir.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. No one's chatting any questions. Pinky, thank you for your question. Everybody, Malu, thank you so much. William, thank you very much. Thank you,
sir.
And thank your lovely wife, Bala. Thank you very much. Haribol. Daryl, thank you. Janar-san, Janardhan Das, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Let's chant. Bala, let's chant.
Wait a moment, sir.
Wait.
It's Elinette and May birthday today. Happy birthday, Elinette. Happy birthday, May.
Happy birthday to you both. I hope this is your last birthday in this world.
Happy birthdays.
And I hope that this
Happy
birthday is
Birthday.
good.
Thank you po.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
May Krishna bless you.
Krishna bless you. Ellen and me.
Okay. So for the past microphone kirtan, we'll invite the devotees from Laguna. Are you there? Hello, devotees from Laguna.
Yes po.
Please chant for us. Haribol.
Hindi ka daw hindi ka nakikita, ma.
Krishna, hey.
Well, don't everybody sing at once.
Everybody sing at once.
Hey. Happy birthday to Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Ellen and May.
Happy birthday to
May Krishna bless you.
Bless you both.
Thank you po.
Bless you. May Krishna, may
Krishna, may Krishna,
may Krishna bless you.
I don't see Ellen here. I only see May. Okay. So where are those devotees, students of Jagat Guru from Binya, from Laguna? Please chant for us.
It sure is some fine chanting up here.
I'm golden.
Well, the thing is, folks, you see, it's just kind of subtle. It's kind of, it's there, but you can't really hear it unless you got them. There we go. So, got the madunga.